Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. Thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna, Panduranga Priya, Padma Malini Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. Thank you so much.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी धन्यवाद।
Hare Krishna, Maitri Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. Sagar, Dhanvat Pranam. Moktika Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. Thank you, Pushkara. Parishya Mataji and Advaita Prana Prabhu, Dhanvat Pranam. Thank you so much for joining. So let us begin the session. Om Jnana-Timirandasya Jnananjana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namaho Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gurate Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Patevasya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaurabhattavanda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are reading Canto 4, chapter number 25, the characteristics of the King Puranjana, which is an allegorical story of the Jiva who is enjoying the material life within the body, which is nothing but the city of nine gates. This is narrated by Narada Muni to Prachina Parisa to illustrate the misfortune of Brahmins. Just a recap, we are into the 24th sloka. So we will have a small recap of what has happened so far. So in the first 8 slokas, we have seen the scene has been set, where Lord Shiva disappeared after reciting the Rudra Gita. Prachetas take on to recite the Rudra Gita, and Narada Muni asks 2 beautiful questions. What do you desire to achieve by these karmas? It is not possible to get rid of the miseries and attain happiness by doing the karma. Then Prachina Parishita requests about the pure knowledge, where Narada Muni shows the sacrificed animals, etc. Then King Purandara's stories has been started, and the city of 9 gates has been described, where city of 9 gates like walls, the parks, towers, trenches, windows, gates, houses, capital of the state, assembly house, streets, crossings, everything were explained with respect to the allegorically we express the comparison to the body. And you have seen the features of the city. Here, the city of the 9 gates is an elaborate allegorical for the human body. The living entity searches across all the material existence for satisfaction, only to find it temporarily in a body with 9 openings. The soul, Avignata, who is nothing but the friend of the soul, is always nearby, but remains unknown to the conditioned soul. Then we have seen the Puranjani and her intellect appearing. Puranjani is nothing but the intelligence. She is protected by 5 snakes, beautifully decorated face, beautiful features of the lady Puranjani is being described. Now we'll go into the 24th sloka. Let me. Hare Krishna Padmamalini Mataji, text number 24, first two paragraph.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. With the end of her sari, the woman was trying to cover her breasts, which were equally round and well placed side by side. She again and again tried to cover them out of shyness, while she walked exactly like a great elephant. Purport. The two breasts represent attachment and envy. The symptoms of raga and dvesha, attachment and envy, are described in Bhagavad Gita 3.34. Indriyas,
बड़ा कर ले।
Yes,
No, Prabhuji, 1 minute.
Raga.
Yeah. It's very small, so I'm just adjusting it.
Should I increase?
Yeah, 1 minute, Prabhuji.
No.
Chalo. No?
Okay.
1 minute, Prabhuji. I think it's very... okay, Prabhuji. Yeah.
This is okay now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
बस.
Yes, Prabhuji.
इंद्रियस्येन्द्रियस्थाते
रागा द्वेषा व्यवस्थितौ तयोर्नाव्यसमगच्छेत्
तस्य परिपन्नतनुः. Attraction and repulsion in four sense objects are felt by embodied beings, but one should not fall under the control of senses and sense objects because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. These representatives of attachment and envy are very much unfavorable for advancement in spiritual life. One should not be attracted by the breast of a young woman. The great saint Shankaracharya has described the breasts of women, especially young women, as nothing but a combination of muscles and bloods. So one should not be attracted by the illusory energy of raised breasts with nipples. They are agents of Maya meant to victimize the opposite sex because the breasts are equally attractive. They are described as Sama Bratu. The sex impulse remains in an old man's heart also, even up to the point of death. To be rid of such agitation, one must be very much advanced in spiritual consciousness, like Yamunacharya, who said. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Pandal Prabhu.
Since I have been engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, realizing ever new pleasures in him. Whenever I think of sex pleasures, I spit at the thought and my lips curl with the distaste. When one is spiritually advanced, he can no longer be attracted by the lumps of flesh and blood which are the breasts of young women. The word Nirantarau is significant because although the breasts are situated in different locations, the action is the same. We should not make any distinction between attachment and envy, as described in Bhagavad Gita 3.37. They are both products of Rajoguna. Kama esa, Krodha esa, Rajoguna, Samudabha. The words Nigruhatim, trying to cover, indicates that even if one is tainted by kama, lobha, krodha, etc., they can be transfigured by Krishna consciousness. In other words, one can utilize kama, lust, for serving Krishna. Being impelled by lust, an ordinary worker will work hard day and night. Similarly, a devotee can work hard day and night to satisfy Krishna. Just as karmis are working hard to satisfy kama, krodha, a devotee should work in the same way to satisfy Krishna. Similarly, krodha, anger, can also be used in the service of Krishna when it is applied to the non-devotees, demons. Hanuman ji applied his anger in this way. He was a great devotee of Lord Ramachandra and he utilized his anger to set fire to the kingdom of Ravana, a non-devotee demon. Thus, kama, lust, can be utilized to satisfy Krishna, and krodha, anger, can be utilized to punish the demons. When both are used for Krishna service, they lose their material significance and become spiritually important. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Michael, text number 25. First.
Hare Krishna. Puranjana, the hero, became attracted by the eyebrows and smiling face of every beautiful girl and was immediately hit by the arrows of her lust desire. When she smiled shyly, she looked very beautiful. Puranjana, who although a hero could not refrain from addressing her. But every living entity is a hero in two ways. When he is a victim of an illusory energy, he works as a great hero in the material world, as a great leader, politician, business, industrialist, etc. And his hero activities contribute the material advertisement of citizen. One can also become a hero by being material of the sense of material activities or false hero activities, whereas retraining the sense from the material and engagement is great heroism. However great a hero one may be in the material world, he can be immediately conquered by the lumps of the flesh and blood known as the breast of a woman. In the history of material activity, there are many examples like a romance hero and to end who become captive by the beauty of quality. Similarly, a great hero in India named Bajaj Rao who became a victim of a woman during the time of Maharashtra politics, and he was defeated. From heroic, he understands that formerly politicians used to employ beautiful girls who are trained by Kanya. These girls have poison injections into their bodies from the beginning of their lives so that the due courses of time they would become immune to the poison and so poisonous themselves. The similar by kissing a person they could kill him. These poisonous girls can engage the scene an enemy and kill him with a kiss. Thus there are many instances in human history of heroes who have been corrupted similar by women. Being part and parcel of Krishna, the living entity, is certainly a great hero, but due to this own weakness, he becomes attracted to the material futures. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sagar. I'll read the sloka, you can continue with that. Krishna Vaihukavaya Bhogavancha Hare Nikatastha Maya Tare Japita Dare. Yes.
Hare Krishna. It is said in the Prema Vivarta that when a living entity wants to exist by the material energy, a living entity is not forced to come into the material life world. He makes his own choice. Being attracted by a beautiful woman, every living entity has the freedom to be attracted by material nature or to stand as a hero and resist that attraction. It is simply a question of the living entities being attracted or not being attracted. There is no question of his being forced to come into contact with material energy. One who can keep himself steady and resist the attraction of material nature is certainly a hero and deserves to be called Goswami. Unless one is master of the senses, he cannot become a Goswami. The living entity can take one of two positions in the world. He may become a servant of his senses or he may become master of them. By becoming a servant of the senses, he becomes a great material hero. And by become master of the senses, he becomes a Goswami or spiritual hero. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhakti Master, text number 26. Hare Krishna, Pushkala, you can read.
Hare Krishna. Uh, Translation. My dear daughters, I'd kindly explain to me where you are coming from, who you are, and whose daughter you are. You appear very chaste. What is the purpose of your coming here? What are you trying to do? Please explain all these things to me. Purport. The first aphorism in the Vedanta Sutra is Atato Brahma Jignasa. In the human form of life, one should put many questions to himself into his intelligence. In the various forms of life lower than human life, the intelligence does not go beyond the range of life's primary necessities, namely eating, sleeping, mating, and defending Dogs, cats, and tigers are always busy trying to find something to eat or a place to sleep or trying to defend and have sexual intercourse successfully. In the human form of life, however, one should be intelligent enough to ask what he is, why he has come into the world, what his duty is, who is the supreme controller, what is the difference between dull matter and the living entity, etc. There are so many questions, and the person who is actually intelligent should simply inquire about the supreme source of everything. अ- अतः तो Brahma Jignasa, a living entity is always connected with a certain amount of intelligence, but in the human form of life, the living entity must inquire about his spiritual identity. This is real human intelligence. It is said that one who is simply conscious of the body is no better than an animal, even though he be in the human form. In Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Shri Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham rudhi sanvishto mataha smriti jnanam apohanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. In the animal form, the living entity is completely forgetful of his relationship with God. This is called apohanam or forgetfulness. In the human form of life, however, consciousness is more greatly developed, and consequently, the human being has a chance to understand his relationship with God. In the human form, one should utilize his intelligence by asking all these questions, just as Puranjana, the living entity, is asking the unknown girl where she has come from, what her business is, why she is present, etc. These are inquiries about Atma Tattva, self-realization. The conclusion is that unless a living entity is inquisitive about self-realization, he is nothing but an animal. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mautika Madhuri, text 27.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Translation. My dear lotus eyed, who are those 11 strong bodyguards with you? And who are those 10 specific servants? Who are those women following the 10 servants? And who is the snake that is preceding you? Purport. The 10 strong servants of the mind are the 5 working senses and the 5 knowledge gathering senses. All these 10 senses work under the aegis of mind. The mind and the 10 senses combine to become 11 strong bodyguards. The hundreds of women under the jurisdiction of senses are addressed here as Lalana. The mind works under the intelligence, and under the mind are the 10 senses, and under the 10 senses are the innumerable desires to be fulfilled. All these, however, depend on the vital life force, which is here represented by the snake. As long as vital life force is there, the mind works, and under the mind the senses work, and the senses gives rise to so many material desires. Actually, the living entity known as Puranjana is embarrassed by so much paraphernalia. All this paraphernalia simply constitutes different sources of anxiety. But one who is surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and who leaves all business to him is freed from such anxieties. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj advises a person who has taken to materialistic way of life, which is never permanent but always temporary, to take shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead and leave aside all his so-called responsibilities in order to get free from all anxieties.
Hare Krishna, Saraswati Madhuri, text number.
Hare Krishna. My dear beautiful girl, you are exactly like the goddess of fortune or the wife of Lord Shiva or the goddess of learning, the wife of Lord Brahma. Although you must be one of them, I see that you are loitering in this forest. Indeed, you are as silent as the great sages. Is it that you are searching after your own husband? Whoever your husband may be, simply by understanding that you are so faithful to him, he will come to possess all opulences. I think you must be the goddess of fortune, but I do not see the lotus flower in your hand. Therefore, I'm asking you where you have thrown that lotus. Purport. Everyone thinks that his intelligence is perfect. Sometimes one employs his intelligence in the worship of Uma, the wife of Lord Shiva, in order to obtain a beautiful wife. Sometimes when one wants to become as learned as Lord Brahma, he employs his intelligence in the worship of goddess. Wishes to become as opulent as Lord Vishnu, he worships the goddess of learning, Saraswati. As Lord Vishnu, he worships the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. In this verse, all these inquiries are made by King Puranjana, the living entity who is bewildered and does not know how to employ his intelligence. Intelligence should be employed in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As soon as one uses his intelligence in this way, the goddess of fortune automatically becomes favorable to him. Can you scroll a little bit? Okay, thank you. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, never remains without her husband, Lord Vishnu. Without her husband, Lord Vishnu. Consequently, when one worships Lord Vishnu, he automatically obtains the favor of the goddess of fortune. One should not, like Ravana, worship the goddess of fortune alone, for she cannot remain long without her husband. Thus, her other name is Chanchala or restless. In this verse, it is clear that Puranjana is representing our intelligence while he is talking with the girl. He not only appreciated the shyness of the girl, but actually became more and more attracted by that shyness. He was actually thinking of becoming her husband, and consequently was asking her whether she was thinking of her prospective husband or whether she was married. This is an example of Boga Icha, the desire for enjoyment. One who is attracted by such desires becomes conditioned in this material world, and one who is not so attracted attains liberation. King Puranjana was appreciating the beauty of the girl as if she were the goddess of fortune, but at the same time, he was careful to understand that the goddess of fortune cannot be enjoyed by anyone except Lord Vishnu. Since he doubted whether the girl was the goddess of fortune, he inquired about the lotus flower she was not holding. The material world is also the goddess of fortune because the material energy works under the direction of Lord Vishnu, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Adhyakshena Prakritihi Suyate Sa Characharam. Hare Krishna.
Continue.
Okay. The material world cannot be enjoyed by any living entity. If one so desires to enjoy it, he immediately becomes a demon like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, or Kamsa. Because Ravana wanted to enjoy the goddess of fortune, Sita Devi, he was vanquished with all his family, wealth, and opulence. One can, however, enjoy that Maya bestowed upon the living entity by Lord Vishnu. The satisfaction of one's senses and desires means enjoying Maya, not the goddess of fortune. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, read the Pran Prabhu, text number 29.
629.
You can read the entire text.
O greatly fortunate one, it appears that you are none of the women I have mentioned, because I see that your feet are touching the ground. But if you are some woman of this planet, you can, like the goddess of fortune, who accompanied by Lord Vishnu, increases the beauty of the Vaikuntha planets, also increase the beauty of the city by associating with me. You should understand that I am a great hero and a very powerful king on the planet. Purport. There is a difference between demoniac mentality and devotional mentality. Devotees know perfectly well that the goddess of fortune, who is the constant companion of Vishnu or Narayana, cannot be enjoyed by a living entity. This higher sense of understanding is called Krishna consciousness. Nonetheless, everyone wants to become happy by imitating the prosperity of Narayana. In this verse, Puranjana states that the girl appears to be an ordinary woman. However, since he is attracted by her, he requests that she become as happy as the goddess of fortune by associating with him. Thus, he introduces himself as a great king with great influence so that she might accept him as her husband and be as happy as the goddess of fortune. To desire to enjoy this material world as a subordinate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is godly. The demons, however, want to enjoy this material world without considering the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the difference between a demon and a demigod. The word Bhuvisprak mentioned in this verse is very significant. When the demigods sometimes come to this planet, they do not touch the ground. Puranjana could understand that this girl did not belong to the transcendental world or the higher planetary system because her feet were touching the ground. Since every woman in this world wants her husband to be very influential, rich, and powerful, Puranjana, to seduce the girl, introduced himself as such a personality. In the material world, whether one be a man or a woman, one wants to enjoy. A man wants to enjoy a beautiful woman, and a woman wants to enjoy a powerful, opulent man. Every living entity who possesses such material desires is called Purusha, an enjoyer. Superficially, it appears that the woman is the enjoyed and the man is the enjoyer, but internally, everyone is an enjoyer. Consequently, Everything in this material world is called Maya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Actually, Mati, Hare Krishna, Maitre, yes.
Hare Krishna, certainly young gazing upon me today have been very much attained by mind. Your smile, which is full of shyness but at the same time lusty, is against the most powerful Cupid within me. Therefore, one most beautiful, I ask you to be merciful upon me. Purport. Everyone has a lust, desire within, and soon as one is again agitated by the movement of a beautiful woman's eyebrows, and Cupid within immediately thrown in arrow at the heart. Thus one is quickly conquered by the eyebrow of a beautiful woman. When one is aggregated by lust, desire, the senses are attracted by the kind of vyasa. Enjoyable things like sound, touch, from smell and taste. These attractive sense objects oblige one to the come under the control of a woman. In this way, the conditional life of a living entity begins. Conditional life means being under the control of a woman, and certainly the living entity is always at the mercy of a woman or a man. Thus, living entity living in the bondage to one another, and thus they continue this conditional material life, illustrating by Maya.
Thank you, sir.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Padma Malini, Mati, Krishna, Mati.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Such a speech is typical of a living entity attracted by the opposite sex. This is called bewilderment occasioned by becoming conditioned by material nature. When thus attracted by the beauty of the material energy, one becomes very eager to enjoy. This is elaborately described in this instance of Puranjana's becoming attracted by the beautiful woman. In conditioned life, the living entities are attracted by a face, eyebrows, and eyes, a voice of or anything. In short, everything becomes attractive. When a man or woman is attracted by the opposite sex, does not matter whether the opposite sex is beautiful or not. The lover sees everything beautiful in the face of the beloved and thus becomes attracted. This attraction causes the living entity to fall down in this material world. This is described in Bhagavad Gita 7.27. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. इच्छद्वेषा समुत्थितेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि समोहं सर्गे यान्ति परम तपा. O ocean of Varta, Arjuna, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, overcome by the dualities of desire and hate. The condition of life is called avidya. Opposed to this avidya is real knowledge. Sri Isopanishad distinguishes between vidya and avidya, knowledge and ignorance. Why avidya, ignorance? One becomes conditioned, and by vidya, knowledge, one becomes liberated. Puranjana admits herein that he is attracted by avidya. Now he wishes to see the complete features of avidya and so requests the girl to raise her head so that he can see her face to face. He thus wishes to see the various features that makes avidya attractive. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thanks. Number 13. Narada Muni continued, My dear king, when Puranjana became so attracted and impatient, touched the girl and enjoyed her, the girl also became attracted by his word and accepted his request by smiling. By this time, she was certainly attracted by the king. By this incident, we can understand that when a man is aggressive and begins to woo a woman, the woman becomes attracted to the man. This process is described in the Bhagavatam 5.5a as Umshastriya Maituna Bhavam Hetum. This attraction is enacted on the platform of sexuality. Thus, sex impulse is a platform of material engagement. This conditioned life, the platform of material sense enjoyment, is the cause of forgetfulness for the spirit. In this way, a living entity's original Krishna consciousness becomes covered or converted into material consciousness. Thus, one engages in the business of very. So we'll stop it here. Thank you. Thank you so much. So only Prabhupada can do such a thing. Wonderful Lord purpose here. Once again, happy Purushottam Mass. Thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna, Pandana Priya Prabhu, Putnam Malini Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Thank you, Pushkala, for joining. Kamavika Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Maitri Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Sagar Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam. Sarsida Mataji, Advaita Prana Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam. Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Ananda Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Ramacharya Sri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We'll meet again on Thursday the same time. Thank you so much.